Good opportunity on nearly every single level to review all of your insurance policies, auto and home, especially in things like this. With me here, a man who has a great experience in those areas from Farmers Insurance, Gregg Goodman. Good morning.
Good morning, George. Thank you very much for having me this morning.
And as I mentioned, 5.5 years of hearing your commercials. Finally get to meet you in person. This is the time of year that maybe a lot of people are starting to think about their insurance, and sometimes a little too late based on their coverage, whether it is getting into an auto collision or especially in their homes. That's the time it's like, did I do the right thing? And of course, we've had the fires over the summer, which is wrecking a little bit of havoc, especially with the homes, Clarita, Sand Canyon,
Correct.
with the burn areas and stuff like that. So tell me a little bit about what's kind of happening here now that the fires are done, but now we have had more rain than we've had since about 2011.
Even though last year was supposed to be the rainy, the flood season, and
Mother Nature
this year
just
is
likes
worse
to,
than ever. So.
Mother Nature likes to keep us waiting, doesn't she?
The one thing I like to tell everybody is that everyone relies on the insurance agent to give them the right coverage and everything. So, but one thing that Farmers does and that they want us to do all the time is to review their insurance, because you just don't want to assume that you have the correct coverage. You're hoping the agents do the job. I think we do a great job at our agency, but you should always know the type of coverages you have concerning the fire and now floods. Last year a lot of people got a lot of flood insurance, but I'm not seeing any cancellations because now there's more rain and everything, and there are going to be more floods lately. So
and flood insurance can be a tricky thing, as we find out. Sometimes there's a difference between like a mud flow and a mudslide, and sometimes in those types of situations, especially in those burn areas. So those are things that you should ask your agent about.
Right, because earth movement, technically, okay, you go by the definition, is not covered, but water flow and mud flow is covered. So there's always that little fine definition. And if you notice in California, since we really don't have that too much rain, okay, over the years, you don't have too many claims like that. So now all these claims and the claims adjusters are going to be going in and making sure everyone has the right coverage and what's covered. So you really have to know what's covered.
And relying on an agent who has the experience. And we talk about homeowners now. It's required, of course, when you are obtaining a home mortgage. And there are some mortgage companies who have their insurance. Oh, we'll just tack it on. But their insurance agent, and they're not as many anymore. I know that you had some loan agency that went under that used to have their own insurance divisions. But they aren't always necessarily looking out for your interest, especially if that insurance agent is strictly just collecting.
What they do is like a lot of the new developments, they will have a contract with an insurance company, and they will try and get the insurance with that insurance company, but who are you going to review that insurance with? So are you going to call some 800 number company? You just don't know. So it's always best, I think, to always have like a local agent that knows the area and the coverages and review insurance.
And knowing the area, how long have you lived out here?
I've lived out here since 1986.
So you got to pre-city. Ooh, you got
pre-city.
You got the people who live out here. I'm pre-city incorporation, or I'm pre-mall. I was here before the mall was here. That's anybody after the mall.
I was here before the mall.
Anybody after the mall is a newbie.
I was here when it was when the chamber. When the Chamber Fair was on the corner of Valencia Boulevard and McBean.
I remember that where Kohl's Shopping Center is.
Exactly.
I've done that a few times myself there. The big tent, which now is not a thing anymore because of the shopping center and everything else. Thanks for nothing, Kohl's. This was, and we're talking about serious growth, and especially as we're building more and more developments in the hills and away from kind of the center of the valley near these what could be burn zones and brush areas. Does that pose a problem when trying to obtain insurance?
Absolutely. I mean, we're a little bit more liberal than some of the companies, but everything is done by now what they call by a fire line, and fire line has been established by the state and then it's mainly the brush area is mainly by the slopes, because what they're finding out when there's fires, the fires go down the slope, and that's where you get more catastrophes for fire claims. But a lot of companies will not insure in any of those places, and then what happens is it gets more difficult to find the right type of insurance, and you just have to make sure you have the right type of insurance and make sure you're covered to cover your house.
Now, is there a blanket thing for right type of insurance, or is that customized based on what criteria? What's the one thing that maybe a homeowner, someone buying a home for the first time should consider?
You can call my agency.
There it is. See, that's the answer I wanted.
That's a 661-254-6739 if you want to hear that number.
There you go. And we'll recap that before you go as well. But also you do commercial lines as well.
I do a lot of commercial business. I do a lot of restaurants out in Santa Clarita Valley. And if you notice in Newhall, there's restaurants going up all over the place, new restaurants, and this place is growing like gangbusters. So we try to do a lot of – my book of business is pretty much 50% commercial and 50% personal.
Right. And not to mention, do you do business renters insurance as well?
I do renters, life insurance. I do financial solutions. So I'm pretty well-rounded.
The smorgasbord of anything that will protect your assets and, of course, you and your family. Perfect. Yeah, because like some of these buildings are a little old out here, you might get a little bit of the leakage coming in, and it only covers if without renters insurance. As if you're renting your business, it won't cover your equipment that's in there. You got to cover that yourself.
And the one thing I like to tell everyone is about the rains. If there's rains and there's leakage into your house, if there's wear and tear on your roof tiles, that might not be covered. So you have to review your policy because wear and tear and deterioration does not cover it. So you have to make sure your house is maintained correctly in case there is some type of claim.
And of course, even if someone has another insurance policy, they can call you to review and make sure that
absolutely. We're here all the time.
And it's always good. The right amount of coverage, whether it's auto, home, or life, is always the thing that will keep you best protected. And of course, you also do things in the community as well, and you give back, right?
I've been a board director for the Santa Clarita Valley Youth Project for about 13 years since our inception. That's with Kim Goldman and all our board of directors.
I know Kim very well. So
and we
good.
do, we help out all any kid in junior highs and high schools. So we're very entrenched in the community.
And you're also our insurance agent, as in KHTS. So very, very nice.
Yes.
Thank you. Throw that out there again. So you said you have a new website.
We just have a new website. You just have to go to Farmers Insurance and look up Gregg Goodman for the website. We just updated that. We're trying to update all of our social media now. And actually, Jerry and Carl are helping me with that, which is really awesome.
That's great. That's Gregg with 2 G's at the end.
Correct. And I'm in the Industrial Center on Avenue Stanford.
And there you are. Number again?
661-254-6739. I'd like to just say one more thing. I have a great staff. I have Carolyn Breimer, who's been with me for 20 years, and she does all my commercial insurance. And Kathy Gundy, who a lot of people know out here also, does all my personalized insurance out here in the office.
Gregg, again, after all these years, pleasure to meet you.
George, thank you very much.
Associate the face with the commercial. Thank you so much.